Hello everyone, this is part 7 of What If Naruto Awakens the Rinnegan, and I hope you guys enjoy this video and to like, to subscribe, and check out the playlist, to see more comment down below. Now let's start the intro.
They call me a god. They call me a god. They call me a god.
Grass Country, Tenchi Bridge. Keizuki. Chidori Gatana. There was a clang as Yugito and Sasuke clashed at the center of the old bridge. The others having split up and went their own ways during the opening stages of battle. They could both still hear the sounds from the other fights go on away from them, most notably the one between Naruto and Orochimaru. Just give up, Demon Woman. I would much rather you live and kill a few more Akatsuki members. They will be coming for you shortly, I believe, Sasuke said impassively. Your concern for my well-being is heartwarming, really. Yugito's voice was dripping with sarcasm. No wonder the Rikudo Sennin chose the Senju over the Uchiha when he had to choose his successor, she continued. Do not insult the Uchiha clan, Sasuke told her with a voice of steel. If there was one way to cause Sasuke anger, it was insult his family and clan. Yeah, they were a great bunch. I have to thank Itachi-san the next time I see him for wiping you scumbags out. Yugito knew it was a low blow, but she was a kunoichi and would take every advantage she could get in this fight. She saw him making a set of hand seals that she knew and quickly formed the same ones. Kaiten, Guayu no Jutsu. The two exclaimed as they both blew out a massive fireball each towards each other. The two attacks collided in the center and exploded in a storm of flames. The center of the bridge shattered and fire covered the crumbling supports that held it together. Sasuke was airborne in his curse seal level 2 state while Yugito was forced to retreat off of the bridge. This was when Sasuke struck. Chidori Iso, he spoke as a spear-like lightning weapon shot out of his fingertips and tore through her shoulder. She flew through the air and collided with a tree, the attack going through both her and the tree. He retracted his jutsu and she fell to her knees as she tried to heal her wound. He strolled forward and grabbed her wrist before she could react. Chidori Nagashi, he said, and Yugito cried out in pain as electricity jolted through her nervous system. Any last words? He asked as he tossed her to the ground. Screw you, she rasped out. You're not my type, Sasuke sneered down at her. Her body exploded in a purple light and an intense heat washed over the area. When the light died, there now stood a 3-story tall fire cat with 2 tails and she roared. This is different than before from both her and the Dobe, Sasuke thought as he remembered his fight and defeat with Naruto 3 years ago. He took to the skies as she sent a blast of purple flames at him. In this form Kaiten and Raiten Jutsu will be ineffective. Perhaps I can suppress her. He concentrated his Sharingan on the demon car's eyes and suddenly the world around them changed. Yugito's mindscape, Jinchuriki seal. Unlike Naruto's mind where it was one large sewer system, Yugito's mindscape was one large graveyard. Gravestones and tombs littered the area, giving an unpleasant aura to it. In the center of this was a large metal cage with a 100-story tall raging fire cat with 2 tails inside it. Uchiha Sasuke approached the cage much like he did previously with Naruto, but this time he was confident he could suppress this demon without much trouble, unlike with Naruto and the Kyuubi. Uchiha, you have a lot of nerve showing your face here, the Nibi snarled at him. Why is it that you demons seem to know about my clan? Sasuke questioned her. You will get no answers from me, Hellspawn. Leave or face my wrath, the fire cat growled out. Do not presume to be able to order me around, demon. You remain trapped in this cage and I command you to recall your chakra. Obey me, Sasuke said with his Sharingan spinning wildly, and the Nibi's chakra was forced to retract itself back to the cage. Get away from her. A purple blur slugged him across the face. It was Yugito. I thought Naruto told you not to go poking around at people's heads, asshole. Sasuke wiped some blood from his bottom lip and narrowed his eyes in anger. I've done what I came to do. We'll finish this outside, demon woman. He was gone a moment later. He suppressed my chakra, kitten. I will no longer be able to aid you in this fight, the Nibi informed her host. Yugito looked over and clenched her fists. Damn it, I hate those eyes. You and me both, kitten. Don't die, the Nibi told her. Yugito nodded and disappeared a moment later. Grass country, forest. Chidori. Sasuke exclaimed as he threw out his fist towards where her heart was located. Keizuki. Yugito narrowly parried the attack and kicked him away, now having regained her human form. Sasuke recovered quickly, however. You're strong. You would have made an acceptable consort. If you think I'd ever go along with a bastard like you, then you must seriously be smoking something illegal. No one sane would ever willingly want to be within a 10-foot radius of you, Yugito said, disgusted. Sakura did, Sasuke pointed out with a small smirk. And like I said, no one sane would ever go with you, Yugito shot back. Face it, team, compared to Naruto you will always be second best and he will always be one step ahead of you no matter what you do. Itachi-san doesn't even see you. His target is Naruto and I. In fact, I'm not even sure if he sees me. He seems more interested in Naruto than you or me. I will kill Itachi, Sasuke stated clearly. Yugito scoffed at the declaration. You and what army? You wouldn't even be able to scratch Itachi. He'd have to be half blind for him to take you seriously. Do not speak to me of Itachi. Sasuke shouted and charged forward head on. It looks like I hit a nerve, Yugito smirked as she formed several hand seals. When she was finished, she threw her hand out towards her attacker and a dragon made of lightning shot out towards him. Raiten, Reryuden no Jutsu. Sasuke was surprised at the attack but quickly recovered and evaded the jutsu. To slow, he commented and charged forward as Yugito prepared for the assault again. The two froze when they heard a deafening explosion and the eastern horizon exploded into a white light. The two turned towards the source and saw smoke now drifting from far off in the distance. Yugito honed her senses and detected only one chakra signature in that direction, Naruto's. This meant the battle was over and Orochimaru was dead. So Orochimaru is dead, Sasuke mused and took to the air. Hey, where do you think you're going? Yugito questioned. I no longer have an interest in the situation, Sasuke said simply and flapped his wings a few times. He disappeared behind the tree line and out of view, leaving her to her thoughts. Yugito gave a sigh of relief and frustration. Damn. She turned towards where the blast had originated and took off. There is no use in tracking Sasuke team at the moment. I need to get to Naruto and see if he needs any help. I doubt he got through his fight and killed a Sannin without taking some serious damage. She's fast, Yamato thought as he evaded one of Sakura's punches. One of her punches struck the tree behind him and it shattered instantly. She's strong too. In fact, I think that's Tsunade-sama's super strength, but where did this girl learn that? Hold still. The Pinkett shouted as she caught him in the side with a roundhouse kick. Fuck, that hurts. Yamato cried in pain as he felt his arm become dislocated. He skidded away as she turned to face him. That was a cheap shot. I'm a kunoichi, she shot back. Yamato grabbed his dislocated arm with his other arm and snapped it back into place. Sakura saw this and shot forward as he started forming hand seals once more. Just as she got within range to attack, Yamato completed his jutsu and channeled chakra into his feet. Doten, Doryuso, he grunted out as spikes of rock erupted from the ground around him and tried to impale the Pinkett. Sakura jumped back to avoid the attack and landed on a tree branch high above the clearing. Her reflexes are inhuman. No normal human could have seen that attacking coming and yet she dodged it like it was nothing. What is she? Yamato asked in thought as he looked up at the kunoichi. A moment later she jumped off of the branch and descended directly towards him with her fist glowing a brilliant blue. Oh shit. Oh Kasho. Sakura exclaimed as her fist struck the ground where Yamato stood. Dust exploded upwards as the earth shattered and tore itself apart. As the dust cleared, Yamato could be seen coughing from the smoke and Sakura was now standing. From her file I received before this mission, there is physically no way that she could have reached this level in only 3 years. She's extremely fast and has somehow managed to recreate Tsunade-sama's super strength. Her progress is unnatural. I'm sorry Hokage-sama, but she appears to have experimented on herself to give herself an edge, Yamato deduced as he narrowed his eyes at the Pinkett. Sakura smiled sweetly. I saw you use a Mokuton jutsu back at the bridge. I doubt you are a senju, so if you're not a senju then you must be one of those experiments. Yamato's eyes hardened at her words. Yes, I read the reports on Orochimaru-sama's experiments concerning the Shodai Hokage's jutsu and I also know that none were reported to have survived, besides you of course. Then I think it's about time I got serious. Mokuton Haijutsu, Jukai Koten, Yamato formed a hand seal and large trees sprouted from the ground around them. They eventually became so thick that sunlight was blocked from the area where the two stood apart. I may not be on the level of the Shodai Hokage, but I'm no pushover either. Sakura realized this also and quickly started forming hand seals. You'll still lose in the end. We'll see. Mokuton, Daijuran no Jutsu. Yamato's right arm turned into wood and shot out to try and impale his opponent. The jutsu tore through Sakura's form, but a moment later it puffed out of existence. Damn it, she used a clone. He turned swiftly and spotted Sakura on one of the man-made branches with her hands in a seal. Magen, Jubaku Satsu, she whispered, and the Yamato suddenly found himself bound to a tree which he couldn't control. This has to be a genjutsu, Yamato decoded and formed a hand seal. He expelled chakra from his body and shattered the jutsu, Kai. He quickly turned to check on his opponent when he realized that she was right above him. This is dangerous. Sutenkyaku, Sakura exclaimed as her heel struck down on his position and the tall forest crumbled around them. Trees fell as the two jumped away from each other. Yamato landed atop one of the trees while Sakura landed on a branch a few feet away. You know, this could have turned out much differently, Sakura-san. Had you remained in Konoha, you could have been a very influential member of the medical corps and possible even the student of Tsunade-sama herself. Kakashi-senpai is very disappointed in you, Sakura-san, Yamato told her. I made my choice, Mokuton-san, Sakura stated as she formed a hand seal. Please call me Yamato, the former Anbu captain said simply. Yamato. I'll remember that name. She nodded and started channeling chakra. Bunshin no Jutsu, 10 normal clones appeared at her side. She's sending in normal clones. At best, all she could hope for is a distraction. What is she planning? Yamato asked in thought as he finished his own hand seals. Suten, Suihachi. He held up his hand and water came gushing out of his palm, wiping out the clones that came at him. Kaiman. Sakura shouted as her chakra exploded from her body in a number of green and brown spirals. Yamato snapped his attention towards the powerful surge of chakra. That's she's opening her Hachiman. Human. Sakura called out as her chakra output doubled. I must stop her now, Yamato thought as he threw out his arm again and it turned into a barrage of wooden spikes. Mokuton, Daijuran no Jutsu. The attack slammed into where Sakura stood, but she just kept going. Simon. Her eyes were now glowing white and her skin had become a reddish brown. There is no other choice, she's too strong now, Mokuton, Jukai Heki, Yamato said and slammed his hand into the ground. A very dense wooden wall sprouted from the ground in front of him. I hope that can hold her. Shaman. Sakura's muscles bulged as she screamed. She's too strong. Yamato's eyes widened in fear as the wooden wall he created suddenly shattered and Sakura disappeared from view. She appeared behind him in a burst of speed, struck 1, 2, 4, 8, 16 punches to his body and he let out a silent scream as pain consumed him. At the end she spun quickly and planted a kick to his chest which sent him crashing down to the ground, bouncing twice before he finally stopped. Okasho. Sakura called out as she brought her fist down on the now motionless Konoha shinobi. It was over. Yamato lay in the center of a small crater with Sakura standing over him, still glowing green. After making sure he wouldn't be getting back up, her chakra slowly receded as she closed her celestial gates. She gave out a sigh of relief and winced as pain shot through her arms and legs. That hurt, she grunted out and dropped to her knees. She took a sample of her now dead opponent's blood and disposed of the body a moment later. Sakura, a voice said from behind her. She turned and blinked. Sasuke-kun. We're leaving. Orochimaru is dead, the Uchiha told her. Sakura nodded at him, and Kabuto-sensei. Quote. He no longer matters, Sasuke said simply as he took off into the trees. Sakura hesitantly nodded and looked back at where the bridge was. I'm sorry everyone, but I love Sasuke-kun. She disappeared after him a moment later. Grass country, forest. Fuck, where the hell has that dick guy gone at a time like this? Tayuya growled in thought as she evaded the kunai that was thrown at her. She landed on a tree branch and glared over at her opponent. This bastard is in for a world of hurt. Come now, Tayuya-san, hold still so I can kill you, okay? Kabuto said with a smirk. After all, you are a traitor to Orochimaru-sama for abandoning your duties as a kunoichi of Otokuga no Sato. You bastard. That place was a hellhole. The only reason I stayed loyal to him was because of his damn curse seal. Tayuya shouted at him. It gave you power, did it not? He gave you power and only asked for your loyalty. Is submission no preferable to destruction? Kabuto asked simply. Some things are worse than death, the redhead responded. Kabuto smirked with a nod. True. But sometimes death is the least of a person's worries. Whatever bastard, Tayuya shot back. Let's play, she said with a predatory grin. This is pointless, Kabuto sighed and took out a scroll. He unraveled it and swiped some blood along the kanji imprinted on it, Fuan Kai. Suddenly 24 motionless human figures appeared on the branches around the two. Say hello to the dead for me, Tayuya-san, Shiken no Jutsu. The bodies stood up a moment later, jumped at the tree that Tayuya stood atop. What the fuck is going on here? Are those people down there? She thought as the zombies knocked down the tree she was using. She landed a few feet away and the zombies were suddenly charging towards her. Okay, I need a plan. How about I just pound them all into a bloody pulp? That should work. She bit her thumb and made several hand seals. Kuchio's no jutsu. Her 3 doki appeared at her side in puffs of smoke. Mateki, Genbaso Kyoku, Kabuto watched unamused as the doki tore into the 24 attacking zombies. A few moments later it was over and the doki turned their attention to the Oto Nin since the zombies were now dead, as in completely dead and wouldn't be coming back. The first doki came at him with a large club and brought it down, but he evaded by jumping to the side. The second doki attacked from the side with a large double-edged sword and he was forced to jump over the initial swing. No wonder Orochimaru-sama didn't take you as one of his hosts. You're pathetic, Kabuto sneered and threw 6 kunai with explosive tags at the ground between himself and the 3 doki. Kaiten, Kasumi Endo no Jutsu, he breathed out a flammable mist while simultaneously detonating the explosive notes on the kunai he had thrown a second ago, and the result was a massive blast of fire. Shit. Tayuya cursed as her doki were incinerated. Fujutsu Kyuin. She brought her hands up and tried to absorb the jutsu just like her brother had shown her. You can absorb ninjutsu. Impressive, for a traitor, Kabuto sneered. Tayuya fell to her knees trying to calm her breathing. Cough, do you ever shut up? Kabuto smirked at that. You know, even with those eyes of yours you are still nothing but a child trying to play in the big leagues. Compared to Naruto-kun you're not even a challenge. His smirk widened when he saw the glare she sent him. Just shut the fuck up. She shouted and formed 3 specific hand seals. Her right hand exploded into electricity and she shot forward. Chidori. Chakura no Mesu, Kabuto said, clearly unimpressed. He grabbed her lightning-covered hand almost effortlessly. Surprising Tayuya since she thought it couldn't be stopped. Chidori ha. Hitaki Kakashi must have taught you that. It doesn't matter now though. Don't look so surprised, Tayuya-san. After all, Hitaki was and still is someone I consider a threat who is on my level. I've spent many long nights looking for a way to deflect and counter his signature jutsu. I found out that all Raiten jutsu are susceptible to high frequencies of chakra manipulation that are usually given off during medical operations from the jutsu I am using right now. Let go, the redhead growled at him and tried to pull away. Not a chance. You die now, Kabuto said as his smirk became almost sinister in nature. Choju Giga, 3 medium-sized ink lions came from the side and surprised the Oto Jonin, forcing him to pull away. Tayuya suddenly found herself in the arms of her rude teammate who was smiling at her like normal. Are you alright, Blower? Put me down, he set her down a moment later. And don't call me Blower, Tayuya told him with a glare. True, she used a flute, but the term, blower, could insinuate other things. Thanks, she muttered out, knowing she'd be dead right now without him. Why did you come back? I thought you would have hightailed it out of here by now, she asked him. Sai simply smiled. Since I've been on this team I've experienced feelings that I thought I no longer had. I wish to understand those feelings and I do not believe I can do that if you or the rest of the team die. Tayuya looked at him for a moment before nodding. Geez, you're a piece of work. Do you know that? He didn't reply. Let's finish this. Are you two done? Kabuto mocked. And what is with that smile, kid? Surely you can do better than that, he taunted. I read in a book that a smile can get you out of a tough situation, even if it's fake, Sai explained, still smiling. Sumi Nagashi, snakes made out of ink, rose up from the ground around Kabuto and caught him by surprise. What is this? Kabuto asked frantically as he tried to break free. My jutsu, Sai told him as black ink fell out of the scroll in his hand and flowed towards the ink snakes that kept the Oto Jonin pinned to the ground. Sai turned with Tayuya with a smile on his face. He can't move anymore no matter how strong he is. You're scary when you want to be, the redhead stated and turned her attention to the Oto Jonin and one of her former tormentors. She shot forward with her hand now engulfed in electricity once again. Chidori. Kabuto's eyes widened in fear as she drove her lightning-covered fist through his chest and out the other side in one swift motion. He coughed up blood as he tried and failed to heal the damage from the wound. And no, he tried to speak but his voice soon died as his lifeless body dropped to the ground in a heap. Tayuya looked down at him aside. It's over. I will dispose of the body, Sai told her and proceeded to seal the body for study at Konoha Intelligence. Are you all right? He asked the redhead, having picked up on the fact that she couldn't seem to look at the body of their fallen opponent. It's nothing, Tayuya responded and sighed. Any idea where the others are? As if in answer of her question, Naruto and Yugito dropped down in front of the pair. Yugito looked a bit out of breath but Naruto looked like he had been through a tough time. Considering he took on Orochimaru, they shouldn't have been surprised at his current state as Orochimaru had killed the Sandaime Hokage, though arguably the Sandaime was long past his prime. What happened? Tayuya asked upon seeing Naruto no longer had his trench coat on him. Kyuubi's chakra is very acidic so my coat was burned away, Naruto replied. I'm going to need a new one, he added with a sigh. Where's Yamato Teiko? Tayuya asked them. Yugito shook her head as she replied, I can only sense his residual chakra signature. His chakra core is inactive and has already decayed. He's dead. They stood in silence for a few seconds. Sasuke and Sakura left a little while ago. I can't track them, she finished. Quote. This mission is a failure. Let's go home, there's nothing for us here now, Naruto gave the order. As the group left, Naruto looked back at the now destroyed bridge. I'm sorry this happened, Yamato Teiko. He was gone a moment later. Fire Country, Konoha, Hokage Tower. Sir Orochimaru and Kabuto are dead, Kakashi mused. He leaned back in his chair. I'm sorry about what happened to Tenzo. He was a good man. Tenzo. Yugito couldn't help but ask. It was Yamato's real name, the Hokage answered. He sighed. I'll have the workers add his name to the memorial stone tomorrow evening. I'm sorry, Sensei. He was under my command and I couldn't do anything for him, Naruto said with clenched fists. Naruto, you and your team killed Orochimaru and Kabuto. Two very important figures to Oto. We're at war, Naruto. No one wants to admit it but Konoha is under attack and your team is the only thing standing between Konoha and the greatest threat of the current generation. People will die, Naruto. You have to accept that, Kakashi told him. Those who stray from the path of justice have no courage, but under the wing of a strong leader cowardice cannot survive, Naruto remembered the words. Exactly, Kakashi agreed as he leaned forward. There is also another matter we need to discuss. It's about Jiraiya-sama, that got their attention. What is it? What happened? Naruto questioned. Suddenly a figure popped into existence, actually several figures. The first they instantly recognized as Tsunade while the others were a collection of summoned toads. One of them was the toad elder Fukasaku which Naruto recognized easily having met him on his training trip. Hey old man Fukasaku-sensei, Naruto greeted in his own way. Naruto, watch your language, Kakashi scolded him. No, it is quite alright, Fukasaku waved the comment off and sighed. Naruto boy, this isn't a social call, he continued. Quote. What happened? It was a demand, not a question. There's no easy way to say this. Jiraiya boy fell in battle 2 days ago against the Akatsuki leader, he's dead, Fukasaku informed him. Silence, even Sai's smile had slipped from his face. Ha, Naruto managed. What did you just say? Jiraiya Boya was killed 2 days ago by Pain, the Akatsuki leader, Fukasaku reiterated. How? Naruto's voice was harsh. He went to Omegakure no Sato in search of another of his students. A boy named Nagato who like you has the Rinnegan. It turns out that Pain is Nagato and Pain discovered Jiraiya Boya during the infiltration. It appears that Pain has 6 different bodies and according to Jiraiya Boya none of them were Nagato's, though he did say the lead one was another of his students called Yahiko. Originally Jiraiya Boya never intended to battle Pain directly, but Pain's abilities far exceeded his imagination and without knowing the extent of his powers no one could ever win against him no matter how many times they fought. Jiraiya Boya pushed himself beyond his own limits and almost managed to discover their secrets. No one but Jiraiya Boya could have gotten as far. On top of that he could have gotten away if he had wanted to, but he sacrificed his life so that he could leave us this coded message. Even after his throat was cut out, Fukasaku explained and took off his cloak to show them the numbers now engraved on his back. The real one is not there, Naruto said upon reading the code, surprising those in the room. You know what this means? Fukasaku asked in surprise as he gestured to his back. They're words from Ero Sennin's newest novel. Any idea what it means? Naruto continued. Quote. It's too vague. Fukasaku shook his head and put his cloak back on. Did you let him go? Naruto asked, turning to the Hokage. Yes, Kakashi answered simply. Why? Naruto questioned. He wanted to go. Nagato-san was his student. I would have done the same thing if it were you instead, Kakashi replied. I'm sorry Naruto, I tried sending people with him but he wouldn't allow it. Naruto snarled and left the room a moment later. Kakashi sighed tiredly. I apologize Fukasaku-sama. I'll arrange for Naruto too. No, that's alright. But back to the child of prophecy I was talking about earlier. It is either Nagato-san or Naruto-boya, time will tell which one is the true one, Fukasaku sighed. If you'll excuse me, Tsunade said stiffly. Kakashi nodded and she left a moment later with Yugito following close behind. Tsunade shushu. Tsunade asked hesitantly. Just give me some time Yugito-chan, Tsunade said and started away with clenched fists. Yugito watched her go for a few seconds before heading off, no doubt in search of Naruto. Tayuya and Sai exited a moment later, though Tayuya was noticeably shaking. Whether it was sadness or rage remained to be seen however. I can't believe this, the redhead said with clenched fists. This asshole, Pain is not going to get away with this, Tayuya growled out. Though she didn't much care for Jiraiya because of his perverted tendencies, the man did train Naruto and that was what mattered to her. It appears Akatsuki has become even more dangerous, Sai commented. It doesn't matter, this has gone on long enough. They'll pay for what they've done, the redhead growled out. Quote. I must report to Danzo-sama, Sai told her. Quote. Okay. I never thanked you for helping me out on the last mission, Tayuya started and kisses him on the cheek. Sai's eyes widened for a second. Don't read too much into it Dickman, that was just for saving my life. Quote. Noted, Sai nodded slowly as he saw her walk away. He disappeared a moment later. Fire Country, Konoha, Route Headquarters. This place was always dark and damp, feeling like a pit in hell only without the lava. The lighting was a bare minimum and gave off a killing intent all on its own. Standing in the center of the platform was the leader of Route, a man by the name of Shimura Danzo. He was the kind of man who always thought that the ends justify the means and had no problem doing whatever it took to accomplish his goals and safeguard Konoha. It was the reason the Sandaime and Godaime Hokages kept him around. The Yondaime had kept him around for that very reason too before his demise during the Battle of the Nine Tails 15 years ago. Sai, wipe that stupid smile off your face, Danzo said and Sai appeared in front of him, kneeling. Report, he ordered. Orochimaru is dead Danzo-sama is Kabuto. I apologize but Uchiha Sasuke and Haruno Sakura both managed to escape, Sai informed him. Quote. I see, interesting. I assume that the mission didn't go as planned then. It was a simply question but Sai knew better than to answer. Very well the mission was indeed a failure as Uchiha Sasuke still lives. However with both Orochimaru and Kabuto dead I no longer have to worry about those two fools. He turned and took a few steps before stopping again. I will let this failure slide this time, however do not fail me again Sai. Sai kept his head bowed. Your orders Danzo-sama. Quote. I have a mission for you. Take Fu and Torun and collect as much information on Orochimaru's experiments as you can, were Danzo's orders. Yes Danzo-sama, Sai said simply. Dismissed, Danzo said and turned away. Quote. Danzo-sama, Danzo stopped and turned to him slowly. I request a formal placement on Team Naruto under Namikaze Naruto as an official member. Agreed, Danzo said surprising him though he didn't show it. You may leave Sai, the Root Anbu bowed once more and left soon after. Danzo was not a fool, not by a long shot. He knew that despite the fact that he and Naruto had different beliefs, Naruto was the best chance Konoha had for survival other than himself of course. With the increasing threat from Akatsuki and their accursed leader Uchiha Madara on the rise, Konoha needed every able-bodied shinobi they could get these days. After all that was the reason he had voted to ally themselves with Kumo and permitted Yugito on the team. Fire Country, Konoha. Night had fallen on the village and the only sound that could be heard were the crickets in the bushes. Naruto was sitting at a bench in the middle of the silent street with an ice cream bar in his hand. Tears streamed down his face, but he paid them no heed as he stared at the ice cream he held in his hand. There you are, Naruto. He looked up and saw Yugito approach. He wiped his eyes as she sat down beside him. You're a hard man to find. Quote. I wanted him to keep watching over me, wanted him to see me become Hokage. He was my godfather, but I always thought of him as my own grandfather, Naruto choked out. She pulled him into a hug as he cried yet again. It's okay, it's okay. Why did this have to happen? He asked her. I don't know, Yugito answered truthfully as she felt him shake. I'll kill him, I won't stop until he pays for what he's done, Naruto vowed. Naruto, she thought as he continued to cry in her arms. It was going to be a long night. Rain Country, Akatsuki headquarters. Quote. Did you recover his ring? Pain questioned. Black Zetsu snorted at the question. What ring? There was nothing left of it to recover after his battle with the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. This is troubling news, Pain began. Itachi, kiss him, you two are to hunt the Kyuubi and the Nibi. With Jiraiya now dead, they will be vulnerable and they won't be expecting an attack so soon. Kakazu and Hiden will hunt the Yonbi and the Gobi after we seal the Nanabi. Conan and I will personally deal with the Hachibi, Pain finished. What about the Sanbi? White Zetsu asked simply. Toby will deal with the Sanbi, it doesn't have a Jinchuriki so it will be weaker than the others, Pain reasoned. Oh man, you're sending Toby. Are you mad? Black Zetsu asked in disbelief. Oh, don't be like that, after all Toby is a good boy, White Zetsu said simply. Everyone turned to the mask-wearing Akatsuki member and saw him standing on one of the other fingers, platforms completely motionless like a statue. He snored. I think he's asleep, Kisum laughed. You know I think he's utterly mad, White Zetsu commented. Geez, what was your first clue? The guy is clearly bonkers, Black Zetsu retorted. You have your assignments, dismissed, Pain ordered, and the holograms of the other Akatsuki members disappeared one by one until only Toby remained. I thought I would be the one to hunt the Kyuubi and the Nibi. Why do you want him to go instead? Because I want you to hunt the Hachibi, Toby replied simply with none of his regular light-hearted attitude. Why don't you go yourself? Pain asked. Because I have a prior engagement, Toby said and turned to leave. The time is not yet right to show them the Uchiha's power, my power, the power of Uchiha Madara. Fire Country, Konoha, Namika's household. The family home of his parents was the place Namika's Naruto had moved into once he unsealed all of his things from his travels. The entire area had been riddled with security seals of all kinds, some of which took even Jiraiya hours to finally crack. Once the seals were finally out of the way, Naruto had actually managed to find a photo of his parents which now lay beside the king-sized bed. He had also found his parents' armory, if that's what you could call it. Below the house was a network of tunnels reinforced with several sheets of metal and was filled with hundreds of different weapons and seals. There were thousands of Hiraishin kunai in storage just waiting to be used, and the seals, to be honest, he wasn't even sure what half of them did. The morning sun shone into the main bedroom of the house and Naruto let out a groan as he tried to shift away from the light. His eyes fluttered open and he felt a weight on his chest. He looked down and gave another groan when he saw Yugito's head using his chest as a pillow. They were both fully clothed, however, so he knew that nothing happened last night, but he couldn't remember getting home, so he simply assumed that Yugito somehow carried him in. Morning, Yugito rose her to look at him. Morning, he smiled back. Are you okay? She asked him. No, he answered simply. I hate doing nothing. I need to confront him. I need to confront Pain. Naruto, she trailed off not knowing what to say. Knock knock. It's Shikamaru, Yugito told him, having sensed the Nara at the front door. Naruto nodded and rose from the bed. Yugito gave an audible groan as she felt him leave her side. Naruto exited the room and descended the stairs, reaching the door within moments. He opened it and saw a rather disheveled Shikamaru standing at his door. What is it, Shikamaru? Naruto asked him. Can I come in? The Nara asked. Naruto nodded and stepped aside to allow him entry. He closed the door behind them and they made their way into the kitchen. Shikamaru sat down at the kitchen table and Naruto moved over to the fridge. Can I get you anything? Naruto asked him, looking over his shoulder. No thank you, the Nara replied politely as Naruto grabbed a drink. Why are you here, Shikamaru? Naruto asked outright as he sat down also. I want to know everything I can about pain. The best place to start are the only other Rinnegan uses we know of. That means you, Shikamaru stated clearly. Well, the Rinnegan allows its user to manipulate all 5 main elements as well as the wood element since the Senju got that little trick from the Rikudo Sennin. We are also able to absorb chakra directly through our hands, making ninjutsu all but useless given the situation, and we have the Yamanaka's ability to probe minds when we grab them by the head. Other than that I have no idea, Naruto answered honestly. What about being able to be 6 people at once? Shikamaru asked him. Well, I am able to see what my clones are doing if I make them when my Rinnegan is active, but Ero Sennin once told me that the human mind can't handle the information from more than one set of eyes at the same time. I'm not sure how pain is 6 people, the blonde replied. Quote. I understand, Shikamaru said with a nod. I'm sorry I can't be more helpful, Naruto apologized. Don't worry, I think that's more than enough, Shikamaru said as he stood once more. Before I forget, Hokage-sama wants to see you in his office right away, he mentioned. Naruto nodded as he escorted him to the door. Alright, I'll see you around, Shikamaru. Before Shikamaru closed the door, he turned slightly and said, the day will come when we surpass those who came before us. Jiraiya-sama was a great man, Naruto. From what I've seen, you will soon surpass him. He closed the door behind him as he left. Naruto just stared for a good few minutes before turning and seeing Yugito slowly walk down the stairs. What are you going to do? She asked him. Naruto thought about it for a few more seconds before giving his answer. I need to meet with Hokage-sensei. Fire Country, Konoha, Hokage Tower. Ero Sennin's code said that the real one is not there. What if he meant the real pain wasn't among the 6 bodies? Naruto asked those that had gathered. There were only 6 people with the Rinnegan that we saw, Naruto Boya, Fukasaku responded. And the first shinobi was called the Rikudo Sennin. I think those bodies that Ero Sennin and you fought were pains, paths, Naruto continued. They did call themselves the Pain Rikudo, Fukasaku mused. That still doesn't explain how he is 6 different people though. It's the same with me and my shadow clones, but instead of dispelling like mine he keeps them active all the time. I don't know how he makes them, but I doubt it's that much different from me, Naruto explained. Shadow clones. Jiraiya Boya recognized a few of the bodies as people he had fought before. If what you say is true, then he may be able to reanimate and control a corpse. That would explain how he was able to resurrect 3 of his bodies after they were killed by Jiraiya Boya, Fukasaku mused. He turned and asked the question, how did you come to this theory? When I create a shadow clone with my Rinnegan active, they get it too. It allows me to take direct control of the clone while I maintain control of my own body. I've never gotten used to looking in more than one direction at once. It's the reason I don't decage Bunshin no Jutsu on a large scale as often as I did before, because Ero Sennin warned me that the human mind isn't capable of processing so much information at once, Naruto explained. Pain might be using something similar with his 6 paths. They only demonstrated 1 jutsu each though, Fukasaku said confused. Shizune-san is already going over the body that Jiraiya-sama recovered, Kakashi spoke clearly. Maybe once we find out how they work we will be able to fight this bastard. Tayuya's grin was worthy of Anko's praise. Don't get ahead of yourself. None of you are even close to matching Pain right now. The only one who might have a chance is Tsunade-san, and even then that chance is small. Fukasaku snorted at the very idea. Pain was able to defeat Jiraiya, who despite being considered a failure was the strongest shinobi Konoha had since his student the Yondaime Hokage died in battle against the Kyuubi. Tsunade might be able to hold Pain off for a while, but she would ultimately lose, and though Kakashi was a strong Hokage, he knew he was nowhere near Jiraiya's level. So what do we do then? Just wait for the bastards to attack us? Naruto asked angrily. That's simple, you all train, Fukasaku replied with a smirk. And you, Naruto, will be coming with me. That surprised everyone in the room. With you? Naruto asked the Toad Elder. I'll train you in Senjutsu on Mount Myobokuzen the same way I hammered it into Jiraiya Boya. A smirk somehow managed to settle onto Fukasaku's features. Quote. Will it let me win against Pain? Naruto asked him after a moment. That I can't guarantee, but right now you don't have a chance at all, Fukasaku told the blonde Namikaze. Quote. Count me in, Naruto replied. Then we leave in an hour, you'd better go pack, Fukasaku told him with a nod. Fire Country, Konoha, main gates. Don't worry about us, we'll be fine. We've got our own training to do, you know, Yugito said as Naruto pulled her into a tight hug. I'll be back soon, Yugito, he told her as he pulled away. As soon as we have any results from the autopsy or the interrogation, we'll send word, Kakashi told them. I'll leave a messenger toad, so if anything happens, just send him to get us, Fukasaku said with a nod. Don't worry, little brother, we'll keep this shithole together until you get back, Tayuya said a little too cheerfully. Quote. Right. Naruto deadpanned and shook his head. We really must be going. Until we meet again. The moment Fukasaku finished, both he and Naruto disappeared in separate puffs of smoke. They vanished. Tayuya said in alarm. It's a Gyaku Kuchio's no jutsu, don't worry about it, Yugito told her. You two will meet me at Training Ground 7 in 20 minutes because I'm going to be training you both personally, Kakashi told them. What about Dickman here? Tayuya asked, pointing her thumb at the smiling Rutanbu beside them. I am afraid I will be on a mission for Danzo-sama during this time, Sai replied simply. Kakashi paid him no heed as he started down the street with his book in hand. No one could have predicted what would happen over the following week. Lightning Country, Kumo, Marketplace. Kuchio's no jutsu. Pandemonium reigned as 6 large animals of various species destroyed everything and everyone they could find. Kumo civilians were running away from the rampagers' buildings, shops and spires were left in ruins in the wake of these walking juggernauts. In the center of this mess were 3 figures with orange hair and they all wore black cloaks with red clouds on them. They didn't seem to care about the destruction the summons were causing as they proceeded towards the Raikage Tower at a walking pace. A pair of Kumo nins appeared out of nowhere and tried to attack the man in the center of the 3 only for the ground to crack around them. Shinra Tensei, Deva whispered and the nins coughed up blood for a moment before falling to the ground, obviously dead. Rantan, Riza Sakasu. A dozen beams of light shot out from the side as Darui landed in the street with Shi at his side. Fujutsu Kyuan, Preta said as the beams dissipated upon contact with him. Who the hell are these guys? Omoi asked as he came in from the side and swung his sword. Deva pulled out a chakra blade from his cloak and parried the blow effortlessly just as Karui came at him from behind. Kuchio's no jutsu, Animal said calmly as she slapped her hand on the ground and summoned a large bird-like creature to attack. The bird knocked Karui away as Deva spun swiftly and delivered a kick to Omoi's chest, knocking him back also. Just then Samui attacked from above, swung her own sword down on the Deva path, but alas, he was already prepared. Shinra Tensei, she was thrown back through one of the buildings nearby with thunderous force and the entire complex soon fell. Samui, Omoi called as the building crumbled. The 3 pains continued on their way towards the Raikage Tower, seemingly uncaring about anyone that stood in their way. You bastard. Omoi charged with his weapon in hand. Omoi, don't. Karui shouted to him, but it was already too late. Without even looking back, Deva whispered the words, Shinra Tensei. Pain flooded Omoi's body as the ground cracked around him. He fell to his knees a moment later, coughing blood into his hands. Omoi. Karui shouted as she saw him fall. And the 3 pains never looked back. While the others were causing the distraction, the human path made his way through the village undetected. It was here that he found his target. Jay turned quickly and his eyes widened as Human grabbed his head with his right hand. You will tell me where the Hachibi is located, Human spoke simply as Jay's eyes glazed over. It took only a moment to access the desired information from his mind. Storm Cloud Ravine. Kuchio's no jutsu, Animal called out softly, and in a puff of smoke the Asura path appeared on the battlefield. Asura's head opened to reveal that it wasn't even remotely human at all. The skull, if that's what you can call it, glowed green for a second, and a split second later buildings were knocked down by the force of the large multi-directional green flames Asura unleashed. The force of the blast was heard across the entire village, and after a moment's silence reigned across the battlefield. They kept walking. Girakan Doropu. A figure blurred into existence faster than the paths could realize. Instantly Deva was destroyed under the assault of the much larger Yondaime Raikage. You will not get away with attacking my village, you little ants. Asura simply watched on and fired a volley of missiles from his wrists. The Raikage evaded them all with his superior speed and moved in close only to be surprised by Asura's tail that tried to slash at him. You clearly do not understand pain, Preta spoke in a gruff voice. You trifle with powers that you do not understand, and that will be your undoing. Don't you dare think you can lecture me, the Raikage growled at him. That's when he saw the dojutsu the Akatsuki leader had. You have, the Rinnegan. I want you to feel pain, contemplate pain, accept pain, to know pain. Those who do not know true pain will never understand true peace. A second later Preta, Deva and Asura disappeared in puffs of smoke. Animal had already left as soon as the Raikage arrived. Coward, what are you planning? The Raikage growled and turned as she arrived. He's gone, sir. It looks like they're retreating to the downtown area, she reported, having sensed the direction the chakra signatures were going. I want that thing dead, the Raikage declared with anger in his voice, and he took off after pain. Kuchio's no jutsu, Animal whispered as she slammed her hand down on the ground, and the other 5 paths appeared at her side. Immediately Naraka got to work on repairing and reconstructing the downed paths. Just then Conan appeared at his side with her cloak flapping in the wind. What's going on? The blue-haired girl asked. I'm using that jutsu, Animal replied simply. But the jutsu will shorten your life if you use it, Conan tried to reason with them. Just then Deva exited the King of Hell completely repaired. Do you really mean to do this, Nagato? Now this world shall know pain, was his answer. Just then the Raikage arrived and Deva jumped high into the air above the village. What is he planning? The Raikage asked in thought as he saw the Akatsuki leader float in midair. I can feel a large buildup of chakra coming from him, she informed him as the other pains became lifeless. The Raikage's eyes widened at this. No. Shinra Tensei. Buildings, mountains even were pushed away as pain unleashed a massive blast of gravity in all directions. Civilian and ninja alike screamed as their village was torn apart and utterly destroyed by the unstoppable force that was sent at them. After the blast died down, Kumogakure no Sato no longer existed and silence reigned supreme. It was over. Was that really necessary? Conan asked as Deva stepped up to her. Yes, he answered simply and continued walking. Conan gave a sigh before asking the question, where to now? Storm Cloud Ravine, the home of the Hachibi Jinchuriki, Pain answered. Lightning Country, Storm Cloud Ravine. So you are the Hachibi Jinchuriki, Pain stated as they approached the small house. The lone dark-skinned figure looked the 2-7 over and said, Hey, it's, so you are Hachibi-sama or Jinchuriki-sama? Fools, ya fools. I'm here to capture you and bring peace to the world, Pain explained as his paths fell into formation. Preta, human, animal and Asura were in front with Deva behind them and Naraka at the very back. Let's see now, those eyes you have must be the Rinnegan I've heard so much about, Kiribi mused upon seeing the dojutsu. I'm in the midst of my rhyme, you all are busting in on my time. And now I got to split my line, fools ya fools. Asura threw off his Akatsuki cloak revealing a scorpion-like body and shot forward towards the Hachibi Jinchuriki. Kiribi saw him approach and threw his 7 swords into the air. He grabbed them all with different parts of his body, surprising the Akatsuki agents as he went on the offensive and cut down the Asura path within moments. His kenjutsu is almost unreadable, Pain thought as Kiribi fell back into his ridiculous stance. The only one who gets to dig me is me, yo, so stand back or you'll get whacked, ya fool, Kiribi rapped with a sword still in his mouth. Hachibi, that be me, the rapping killer bee, yeah. This battle you all initiated, but I'll leave you all humiliated. This Jinchuriki isn't like the others, Conan thought as she examined the man. He acts like a complete fool, but he's definitely taking us seriously. Only Hanzo and Jiraiya sensei have given Pain this much trouble. Choin Kuchio's no jutsu, Animal slammed both hands down on the ground and 2 large creatures appeared in puffs of smoke. One was a rhino and the other was a bull. They charged straight towards the Hachibi Jinchuriki, blowing up dust as they approached, and Kiribi narrowed his eyes slightly at the monstrosities. Yo, first I'm going to float like a butterfly, he began as he jumped over the oncoming summons and went to attack Animal directly. Animal could do nothing as she was slashed and stabbed by the barrage of attacks sent at her. Then I sting like a killer bee. Animal hit the ground with an audible thud, but Kiribi was already upon her yet again, and I end my flow. He struck down and finished off the Animal path, with the finishing blow. He's strong in close combat in a similar way to the Raikage. Long-range attacks are my only choice here, Pain mused as he looked over the Hachibi Jinchuriki. This fool's Rinnegan is a real problem, Kiribi thought before putting his left hand up into the air and made a sign. I see it can't be helped, here comes the 8. Crimson chakra exploded from his body and condensed around him into the shape of an ox with 3 tails. So that's the Hachibi's power. His chakra levels are immense, Conan thought as she studied the chakra that clung to Kiribi's body. Kiribi shot forward at blinding speed and appeared in front of Human faster than anyone could blink. Lariat. The Hachibi Jinchuriki brought his fist up and clotheslined the Human path. Blood exploded from Human's back as Kiribi threw him down and turned to his next target. He charged again, but this time towards Deva and Conan. This guy's strength is insane, Conan thought when she saw the third path taken down. It doesn't matter though, he will fall before Pain just like everyone else has. After all, Pain has never lost a fight. Lariat. Kiribi called as he made to blow out Deva's insides just like he did to Human. Shinra Tensei, Deva whispered and Kiribi's eyes widened in surprise as he was flung back effortlessly and crashed hard into the mountain behind his home. What the hell hit me? That must have been a gravity jutsu like Yugito-chan told me about. These brats are a serious pain, Kiribi grumbled as he stood once more. Just then he saw that the 3 paths he had killed were suddenly standing upright again. What the hell? I thought I killed those guys, how'd he resurrect them like that, yo? Surrender yourself now, your death will lead to peace, Pain's voice echoed throughout the area. Shut up, ya little pup. My true mode is the Biju's abode. The red chakra covered Kiribi's body bubbled as it grew and condensed around him. Is that of a monster? See, I told ya. His chakra is impossible. Conan gulped slightly as the chakra continued to grow. A few moments later, a giant ox with 8 tails, tentacles stood over them. Now look upon me as I make ya pee all in ya pants, ya little ants, the ox roared out. Pain remained impassive as he looked up at the monster in front of him, them. Chakra compressed into a ball at the beast's mouth as he continued, and now I will show you, an Oni jutsu. Nagato. Conan took a step back. Do not worry, Conan, Pain reassured her. I will handle this, just stay back for now. Hachibiju Imari. Kiribi roared as he unleashed a large blast of pure chakra from the ball which obliterated the entire ravine. Shinra Tensei. Deva countered as he shielded the other paths and Conan from the blast. When the blast died down, Pain and Conan remained standing atop the water where they had been standing. That was too close, Conan exhaled. Chibaku Tensei, Deva whispered and created a small gravity ball in his hands. You don't have to go that far, Nagato, Conan told him. Would you rather I hold back? When he didn't get an answer, he continued, I will be fine, Conan. He threw the gravity ball into the air above them and it started pulling the earth itself up into the sky. Eventually there was so much mass up there that it looked like a miniature moon, and even the huge Hachibi was pulled up as well. Kiribi roared as he crashed into the artificial construct before he was able to stand once again. He tried to break free, but more slabs of earth impacted the construct and by proxy him. Enough, Nagato, Conan said to her partner. Not yet, Deva gasped out as he tried to hold his jutsu. Kiribi roared again as he was buried inside of the miniature moon and it suddenly crushed itself. It fell apart a moment later and crumbled to the ground in a pile of debris. In the center of this mess was a badly beaten Kiribi who was no longer in his Biju's full form. I have captured the Hachibi, Pain stated clearly as he approached their fallen opponent. Let's hurry up and get out of here before anyone shows up, Conan said as she proceeded to wrap Kiribi's body up in her papers for transport. That will be it for this video. If you want more, comment down below, like, subscribe. And see you guys later.